how that product will actually go down the manufacturing lines.
Sometimes it may well be a design issue and we may have to modify the design, and if we can't, we make sure that the next design has that area or that issue built out of the concept or the design.
Everybody can produce a great product once. It's actually being able to produce it 100,000 times a year.
I suppose the first thing we need to do is make sure that the customer does not suffer. And we do that a number of ways by reacting and satisfying the customer and the market. And thereafter we have to put in the systems and the controls that this blunder hopefully does not happen for the second time.
B&W is not perfect, and much as I'd like to think operations never makes a mistake, we do. A good example is that we underestimated 2 years ago the demand for one of our new products. We'd anticipated selling around about 12,000 of the product a year. We actually found the demand was 40,000. We had a big expectation from customers and from dealers, from distributors, we could not meet. And once you're in that situation, it is very, very difficult to recover because you've got a big loss of goodwill. So you have to go the extra distance. In some instances, whereas we would normally have shipped by sea, it meant that we shipped directly to the customer or directly to the dealer from the factories by air. So they knew that we were doing everything possible. I think there's a great danger in all organisations. We hate to admit we're making mistakes and we try and cover it up. Whereas in fact, most people, if they're actually told the truth, will live with it. They may not like it, but they'll live with it.
Best example of streamlining our operation, I would say going into lean manufacturing, reducing our lead time to the market.
When in 2002 we acquired a woodworking facility in Denmark, one of the first things we did was review the way they had been doing woodworking for the last 20-30 years to see where was the waste in that process and how could we streamline it. Not taking any quality risks, but actually just looking and saying, wait a minute, if you move this process close to that process, you can take out work in progress, plus which you'll see quicker if there's any quality issues. We are always looking for new materials, and strangely enough, we seem to spend a lot of time working with the defence industry. A good example would be when they looked at cruise missiles, they needed a lens that could actually stand the heat of going through the atmosphere at supersonic speeds. So they actually came up with almost the equivalent of a diamond as the lens for the camera with which the cruise missile looks. That same technology allowed us to grow an artificial diamond for our top-end tweeters. Now, a diamond is a very hard substance, and therefore it does not deform when moved backwards and forwards at high speed, which is what we need in a tweeter. The best is yet to come. We're the whole time looking for new materials that just allow us to improve the acoustic signature of our products. That's all very well, that's innovation of the product. But at the same time, to stay at the forefront, we have to innovate management. So one of the things we've tried to do is delayer so that people can make decisions quickly. We've tended to push down to really the people who know what's going on quite a bit of the decision making, and created, instead of a structure of refer upwards, we've created a structure of consultation. That's really innovation of management. And even now we're looking at other ways that we can actually encourage people to say, wait a minute, we've done it this way for the last 5 years in terms of how we manage something. Why? Is there a better way that we can do it? So, innovation within B&W is just not about innovation of new products. It's also about innovation of the processes by which we manufacture, innovation of management.
We empower people. We're a very flat organisation, and we attempt to empower people to deliver their part of that process, to meet the aims of the process, which is deliver that product.
We've moved away in some areas from doing things manually, and instead we've created computer-controlled equipment. Most of the main pieces of equipment in the factory have been designed internally, have been programmed internally. So we have some very sophisticated computer equipment that cannot be bought on the open market. Likewise, the test equipment that we use for checking the acoustic performance, nearly all of that has been developed in-house.
Obviously the quality of the product is paramount to us, and we have, both internally and with external partners, developed our own custom way of testing each individual speaker when it gets to the end of the line. So there are parts where IT is very important and automation is important, but it's not the be-all and end-all.
I'm Jeff Edwards, Executive Vice President Operations, B&W Group Limited. I started off as an accountant, having done a degree in business economics, working for one of the big 8 accountancy firms. Went through a period of doing training for them, training other people to, in particular in my case, do taxation work. Moved to another big 8 accountancy firm to become a partner, where I was a partner for 17 years. At the end of that period, I decided I had enough of advising people about what they should do with their businesses, which actually included advising B&W Group Limited for 15 years, and went out and became Group Financial Controller of a mobile telecoms company, and very rapidly became the Managing Director of a mobile telecoms engineering company. When the mobile telecoms went through a problem in the early 2000s, I looked to move back into the profession, but was asked to come and do a consultancy exercise in B&W, and I'm still here.